So, good day, guys. I welcome you to another session of the free class hosted by CF Trading Hub. And in today's session, we were talking about OTE levels, optimal trade entry levels. Yeah, I believe most of you must have heard of it by now. So, we're talking about OTE, which means what? Optimal trade entry. Yeah, before I go into these awards, there's something you have to understand first. So, before you go into optimal trade entry, you have to understand the concept of what? Fibonacci. So, Fibonacci is just what? They are just is an algorithmic series. So it's a number of what? Of an algorithmic series. That is what Fibonacci numbers are. So they are just sequence of numbers in which the summation of two subsequent numbers is what? Gives a number that comes after. But that's not what you need there. That is just what Fibonacci means. So what you actually need there is what? The Fibonacci tool itself is what you actually will be needing there. So, and in Fibonacci, the key Fibonacci ratios we'll be using over here, like I'm just talking about Fibonacci over here. So the key component, the key part of a Fibonacci is what? And technical analysis, because Fibonacci is used in other concept apart from technical analysis too. So you have the 23.60% level, 36.20%, 50%, 61.80, and 17.60. So those 5 levels are what? They are key sensitive level when it comes to price. When it comes to Fibonacci in price, Fibonacci 2 in price. So that is what you want to know about Fibonacci, but that is not what you want to know about OTE level. Now, what you want to know about OTE level is that OTE level is a particular level in your Fibonacci series. In this your Fibonacci retracements, in this Fibonacci, this is what? This is a Fibonacci 2. Yeah, let me just go on. So this is a Fibonacci 2. OTE level is just what? A level in your Fibonacci 2. It is what is it is the level that comes in between 61.80% and what? And 78.60%. That is your OTE level, optimal trade entry level. Now, what do you want to understand about this is this. When I'm talking about OTE, it's basically a retracement level. Whenever you have a trend going on, whenever you're expecting a retracement, you expect your retracement to actually come what? To your OTE level, your optimal trade entry, the best trade entry, the best level you can actually get for price reversal. That is all an OTE needs. Now, it is a level in which you expect what? You expect a reaction in price, probably what? A reversal, a turning point. That is what you expect at optimal trade entry level. Not that you just use it as a trade entry. It is just a level where you expect reversal. Before you can use it as a trade entry, you have to see what? You have to see other confluences like other blocks, fair value gaps, breakout blocks, and others you've known about before. That is what you want to look for at your optimal trade entry level. Not that you just say retracement and pick your OTE from there. So now how do you draw it? Let's say you're in an uptrend now. Because for you to actually use OTE levels, you have to have a trading market, not a chopping market. You can only use it in a trending market because it's only when you have a trending market that you can see what you can see an impulse and a pullback or retracement. That is only when you can see such. You can't see an impulse and a pullback in a chopping market. So you can only use optimal trade entry in a trending market. So let's say you have an example of an uptrend like this. Yeah, this clean, these are not trend. And what do you want to note over here is that this of Fibonacci, you want to what? You want to use it to measure your what? Your swing leg, your impulse swing leg itself. That is what you want to measure. So you place your what? Whenever you have a trend like this, you place the beginning of your Fibonacci from what? You anchor it from the swing low to the swing high if you're in an uptrend. You anchor it from the swing low to the what? To the swing high if you're in an uptrend. So you expect whenever the pullback is actually coming, what will happen? You expect the pullback to actually come into what? Into your OTE level. When it comes into OTE level, that's where you expect what? You expect price to start making another impulse move. So by now you understand the concept of what? Whenever you have an impulse, you have to have a pullback, an impulse again, a pullback again, an impulse again, a pullback again, and so on. So optimal entry level is just trying to tell you whenever an impulse is done and a pullback is coming, the pullback, like the best level for the pullback to actually come before the next impulse starts is what? is the optimal trade entry level. That is what the OTE is trying to tell you. But you don't use it alone. You use it with other conferences. Like what? Like seeing an order block where you are actually seeing that particular OTE level. You want to see an order block around there. Or a favor logo that is strong enough to actually inject price. Or a breaker block around there. Those are the kind of things you want to see. Not that you just book. Not that you just pick your OTE level and expect price to actually start another impulse from there. Or reverse from there. Or make a turning point from there. So you don't just expect that. You have to actually see other conferences that support price can actually reject from air. That support price can actually reject from what? From your OTE level. Now, this is one your Fibonacci tool will actually look like on what? On your trading view. These are actually, so I customize my trading my Fibonacci to actually look like this. Let me just use the default template so you can see. So this is actually what? This is the default template that forms on trading view. This is the default template that forms on trading view, but I customize mine to actually look the way it is, so I can use it better the way I want it. So just in case you want to make it look like mine, you can actually just take a screenshot of this page so you can set it better. You can see. So let me just take it to the settings. So in case you want to make your settings like mine too, so so this is my settings in case you want to make it like mine. So you can take a screenshot of this. And these are the remainder of the settings. So in case you want to set your Fibonacci like mine. So these are the remainder of the settings. You can actually set up your Fibonacci like that. So and this is how you use it. You've seen how you use it. Anchor it from what? If you're in an uptrend, anchor it from your swing low to your swing high. You expect the retracement to actually come into what? Into 61.80% to between 61.80% to 78.60%. And after coming there, you expect what? You expect the next impulse to actually start from there. So that's how it is about Fibonacci. So and depending on your trend, let's make out another example for a downtrend so you can see how it is. Nothing changes. Yeah, something I actually want you to note about it. I want you to remember the topic of what? Premium on discount. So when you remember the topic of premium on discount, what do you want to note over here? I said, whenever you have a range like this, 50% above is what? Is your premium, and 50% below is your what? Is your discount. And I said, whenever you are what? You are looking to buy, you need to buy from what? You are in an uptrend, you need to buy from what? From discount. So let me change the color so you note it better. Yeah. So now 50% below is what? Is discount. And we are looking to buy from discount, right? Now what do you want to see? 61%, 61.8%, your OTE level is what? Is below what? Is below your premium. Is below your 50% equilibrium. Is in what? Is in discount already. So you can look to buy from there. What am I trying to say? You already know 50% below is what? Is your discount, and that's where you look to buy from. It is just trying to tell you 61.80% to 78.60% is the exact point you look for in your what? In your discount to buy from. So you see your discount as what? As a larger range from what? 50% to 200%. This particular larger size, this particular side of what? Of your discount, instead of looking for that particular side, the whole of that particular side, you just want to what? Refine your entry. You find where you are looking to buy from to what? To 61.80% to 78.60% in your what? In your discount. So OTE level is just trying to tell you a particular point where you're actually looking to buy from what? From in discount, and a particular point where you're actually looking to sell from in what? In premium. So let's look for a premium example so you can actually get on saying better. Okay, we're talking about downtrend too. Let me take it this way. So yeah, this is an impulse, a pullback, an impulse, a pullback, an impulse again, and so on. So yeah, what you want to do over here is this. Anchor your Fibonacci from what? From your swing high to what? To your swing low. To your swing low like this. Anchor it that way. When you anchor it that way, that will mean you anchor what? What you are anchoring is what? You are anchoring it towards your what? At your impulse move. The impulse that goes in the direction, that's where you're anchoring your Fibonacci to. So you now expect the retracement to actually come to what? To actually come to 61.80% to 78.60% of that what? Of that particular impulse. Because that is where you anchored. Since you anchored from there, your retracement will actually come to that particular level. That particular level in your what? That particular level in your impulse leg. That is what you're expecting. So that amount of correction is actually enough. So whenever you have a impulse leg like this, a correction up to 61.80% between 61.80% and 78.60% is actually enough to what? To start or spool the next impulse leg. That's what we're actually trying to say here. So, and just like over here, you can see it's almost the same. It's the same thing. Not everything here is just order and opposite. So you already know it. So 50% above is what? Is premium, and 50% below is what? 50% below is discount. And in an uptrend, what do you see? You are looking to buy, you are looking to, in a downtrend, you are looking to sell from premium, right? So it's just like telling you a particular point in your premium side of what, of the range you actually sell from is where your OT is. So your OT is just trying to tell you a particular, if you're in a downtrend, a particular point in your, what, in your premium side of the range where you can actually sell from is your OTE. A particular point in an uptrend too, where you can actually look to buy from in discount is your what, is what your OTE is. So that's another definition. Another definition is what? Whenever you have a range, your range, I already mentioned it in a lot class that, when you are going up, price won't just go up. Like just continuous upside of the upside move. No. There has to be some measure of what correction to actually create a balanced price movement. So that balanced price movement is your what? Is your correction or pullback. So whenever that pullback is happening, it has to come into what? It has to come into discount of the last daily range you had. And our daily range is what? Our impulse mode is our daily range. So now that particular 50%, we are now refining 50% into what? Into a particular what? A particular level in that 50% below or 50% above in your premium or discount. That's what I mean. So which is what? Your 61.80% to 78.60%, your OTE level respectively. So whenever you have a daily range, that particular amount of retracement up to 61.80% is enough to actually what? Spool the next impulse move, depending on what trend, either uptrend or downtrend. So let's go to some examples I've made already. So it can just get better. And if you've been with me for a long period of time, you actually know I use this Fibonacci tool every time when I make my analysis. I use it every time. So it is what? It is very, very reliable. So let me just clean this first so you can. I use it twice there, so you can see how much I use it. So this is the first example here. You can see. Let me just, yeah. What do you see over here? This is what? This is the break of structure over here. This is structure break over here. After the structure break, what do you see? What do you see? I picked my Fibonacci tool here from this file over here. Let me just mark up here so you can see it. From this particular eye. Oh, sorry. I picked the wrong tool. Yeah, from this particular eye. Yeah, you can see me picking from this particular eye. I picked my Fibonacci from that particular eye, which is the eye that sponsor this break of structure to this what? To this particular low. You can see this particular low, yeah. So I anchored my Fibonacci from there to here, and you can see where the retracement ended. The retracement came here into what? Into 61.80% to 78.60%. You can see I marked the zone right here. See me marking the zone out right here. And after marking the zone out, what do you see happen? It respected that particular zone and did what? And started selling off. And started what? And started selling off. So that is it about that over here. That's here the first example you can see is it went into OTE level, filled the OTE level and what? And started selling off. So that is the first example. Another example is this. So you can see it better. So another example is this. Let me clean the initial one over here. So actually everything depends on your structure. This is a break of structure over here. After the break of structure over here, I marked out from this particular eye again. That particular eye to what? To this particular low. You can see it over here. Let me put it in so you see it better. Yeah. I really you see it better by now. This particular eye over here to this particular low over here. So and I expect my treatment to actually what? To actually come into what? Into this particular 61.80% to 78.60% before what? Before the next downside starts. But one thing I want you to notice over is this. I'm not just picking that particular reversal point. I'm picking what? I'm picking a particular zone in that particular reversal point. So I'm picking a particular zone in that reversal point. That is why I said you don't just choose OT zones alone. You have to what? You have to apply other conferences like other blocks, breaker blocks, and every other thing to it before you actually use it. So you can actually say I picked what? I picked my other block here. This is another block I picked there. Let me just change the color. So no, let me just delete this first. So you know the other block I picked over here. Let me clear this off too. So you can see the other block I picked over here. Falling out what? In falling out what? 61.80% level. After in that particular zone, that's the area out. That's why I picked off my other block from. So I expect a retracement to actually what? To actually end at that particular other block. And that particular other block what? Sponsor the next downside. So and that's how you use OTE. Or you mark out your swing high and swing lows. Your trend, depending on the trend, I can see when the downtrend levels are marking towards downside. So in what? You pick a valid confluence out of what? Out of the OTE level. So this is actually one of the best ways to actually what? To trade a trend. This is one of the best ways to trade a trend. So sometimes it might not actually go for your OTE level, but this is one of the best ways. I said one of the best ways, not actually the best way. The other way you can tell what? You can actually trade a trend. But OTE levels are what? They are very, very powerful in the market. So, and before I go, I want you to see the previous example and see the particular other block is there. So what do you see over here? Let me delete the bigger one. You can see I didn't just pick OTE level over here. I picked what? I picked this block over here. This particular block that you see over here. Let me mark out that block. That is what? That is another block that I picked over there. Yeah, this block over here. That is what I picked. I didn't just pick what? I didn't just pick the OTE level. I picked that particular block over there. So after seeing the OTE level, I picked the block. And what happened? Price respected the block and started selling off. So that is what? That's exactly about OTE levels. Let me just show you one more example I made already. Okay, sorry. Oh, I think that should be on follow-up frame, I think. Yeah, this is it over here. Alright, over here. So this is the last example I will show you. So and that should be 3 examples for this particular concept over there. And trust me, it works very, very, very well. It works like magic. So you can go ahead on your chart and look at it. So what do you see over here? This is a break of structure over here. This is the particular break over here. Let me mark it out. Let me punch it out so you can see it. This break over here is a break of structure. So after the break of structure, I can see this is the high that sponsored what? The break of structure. This particular eye over here. Yeah, this I sponsored the break of structure, and this is what? This is a low formed afterwards, after the break of structure happened. So I anchored my fib over here from the beginning of the swing high to the low of the what? Yeah, from the beginning of the what? Of the impulse leg to what? To the low. So I expected the retracement to actually come into what? 61.80%, which is the Fibonacci level. Fibonacci OTE level or what? And start selling off again. You can see it actually what? It sold off very, very, very well. But before the sell off, what I want you to notice is this. I didn't just pick this particular OTE level. I did what? I picked the block over here. You can see another block over here. So after picking the other block, you can see price tap into the other block and what? And started going down. But also one thing I want you to see in this is this. What do you see over here? Price tap into the block. After stabbing into the block, all the candles, the body of all the candles over here was what? Were staying below 61.80%. So the fact that after, no, what do you see? How many candles do you see over here? 1, 2, 3, like 6 candles over here. So after the first touch, it stayed below 61.80%. Second touch stayed below 61.80%. Third touch, the bodies were what? Were staying below 61.80%. That is what? That is the narrative that price is respecting that particular level. Because if price is not respecting that particular 61.80% level, what will be happening? You see the bodies what? Closing above 61.80%. But the bodies are not closing above. The bodies are what? They are closing below. So far the bodies are closing below. That is showing the narrative that what? Price is actually trying to respect this particular level, even though it is what? It is starting to move. It is stalled. Yeah, that is like 6 candles before it started moving down. Yeah, it did stall for some time, but and this is the 4-hour time frame. But after stalling, what do you want to see? You want to see there is a narrative that the price is actually what? Price is actually respecting that particular level. So and after once tab more it what introduced to other block properly, did what started setting down. So and that is it about OTE. Go into your chart, find a lot of examples. It is very, very common. I use it every day. I use it on all time frame every day. I like it seriously. This is a very, very good concept. So if you can actually familiarize yourself with it, and you can see whenever even if I'm not using this particular strategy, I use it with early concept. That is something about Fibonacci. You can use it you can blend it with any strategy. So that is one of the crucial tools about it. Though I'm only teaching you what OT levels say. Other levels are they have what they have how they are using too. They have their own properties too, but we are not going into that yet. We are just talking about OT levels say. So and that will be it for today's session. So see you in next class.